So Tana Umaga has had his contract extended for another year with the Blues. It was, I guess, an expected result because, as I said in a video quite a long time ago about who could possibly take over if Tana was not to continue with the Blues, the list of choices, to be honest, is not that great, especially if you're going to go for someone who's got like any kind of particular experience or big reputation. And the Blues in recent years, rightly or wrongly, probably wrongly, have tended to go for a big name rather than just someone who's got a lot of coaching potential. So I thought we'll just have a look at what's gone on with Tana so far. Compare him to his much maligned kind of predecessor, John Kirwan, and just see, has there been any progress? Is this justified? Basically, what's the deal? So, Tana's got one more year. John Kirwan got 3. He had the option for another one, but he, I think, also kind of persuaded by the board, decided not to kind of take up that offer of an extended, 4th year. And it probably makes sense because the fans wanted him out and the results just weren't there. So if you look at JK's first year, he went 6-10-0 for a 10th spot out of 15 teams, so kind of a bottom of the table finish. 10th is not disgraceful, but it's not outstanding. 37% winning rate, so not great. Next year, slight improvement, but still same result. 10th out of 15 teams, pretty far off the playoffs. Third year was the year that kind of cost him. He managed only 3 wins out of those 16 games for only an 18.75 winning percentage. And 14th out of 15 teams is just not where the Blues want to be. Cost him his job. In comes Tana for the next year, for 2016. Immediate improvement, so 8-6-1. That's a more than 50-50 record, which the Blues kind of hadn't had for a few years. So yeah, that looks pretty good. 11th spot, but it's out of 18 teams now, so slightly better than kind of 10th out of 15, I suppose. 2017, 7-7-1, so just drops below 50%. And 9th spot, although that's a year when, due to the conferencing systems, the Blues might have actually benefited if it had just been kind of a one solidified log rather than, top teams from conferences qualify. And 2018 so far, he's at 3-8-0 for 12th out of 15 teams this time. So if anything, he's gone from kind of 53%, 46%, and now he's down to 27% in terms of number of wins. So it doesn't seem to be tracking the right way, but he's still gotten his contract extended. I think a key point also for this is you need to look at wins versus New Zealand teams, because it hurts the Blues to be in the New Zealand Conference just with the strength being there. And getting wins over New Zealand teams is going to be crucial for any progress the Blues are going to make. But it's not been going kind of prettily. So in 2013 with JK, his record against New Zealand teams, believe it or not, was 50-50. I think that year they beat the Crusaders and the Hurricanes, which right now it seems like a pretty far stretch of the imagination. But also in 2013, you could also argue it's not really JK's team. He just kind of walked into the job and the team's all right. In the next year, it was also 50% against New Zealand teams. But then in that third year, when they only got 3-13-0, 0. They got no wins against New Zealand teams. In Tana's era, it has not gotten any better. In 2016, they beat the Highlanders. So winning percentage against New Zealand teams was like 16%. And then they haven't done it since. So 2017, 2018, currently sitting 0% wins against New Zealand teams. So obviously that is the area where there needs to be improvement. But we haven't seen it yet. And if anything, the results aren't there. But like I said, I think the main thing is other options available for 2019 are just not there. It's a World Cup year, and a lot of big name guys who the Blues might like to draw over are otherwise engaged. And an interesting part of this story is also the fact that Leon McDonald has been appointed as an assistant coach, I think an attack coach. He's worked with Tana with New Zealand under-20s. They've got some background with the All Blacks together. But his contract goes through until 2021. And Leon's the head coach of Tasman, the Mitre 10 Cup team. So the cynical part of me looks at this contract extension. Tana's obviously come out and said that he wants to he's taken on an extra year to set the record straight, that, he can, the stuff that he's putting the groundwork in for now, putting the foundations in, is going to kind of have some pay. Yeah, that's what he's come out and said. He's not really, with a record of 3-8-0, he's not really in a position to bargain for any longer. So there was definitely the powers with the board on this one, I would say, in terms of dictating how long the contract goes for. But yeah, Leon McDonald 2021. I mean, the cynical part of me is honestly saying they're either waiting for someone else to come off contract, or Leon's he's going to sit with Tana for a year, get a feel for things, and then he'll just take over as head coach from 2020. That's just what it looks like to me. I can't imagine there being much other than that. So yeah, it's a bit of it's an interesting time for them to announce the appointment. I know players sign contracts at different points throughout the year, and it's nice for the Blues to have some stability for next year. It's not an exciting appointment based on the current results, but I guess it'll do until the next thing comes along. I would not be putting money on Tana to still be in the job in 2020 unless things take a massive turn, which, based on current form, doesn't look all that likely. And I mean, it kind of puts into perspective kind of what JK's work was. I actually remember I had a look at some of the stats about that season, like 2017, how it looks all that good. I think, was it 6 out of the 7 wins were against Aussie teams? Yeah. So, I can't find... 5 out of 7. 5 out of 7 were against Aussie teams. So, part of Tana's kind of rebuild of the Blues, where it was looking half decent, may actually just be more the deterioration of the Aussie conference. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see what happens long term, but I guess it's just kind of steady as she goes for the minute, and we'll see kind of what machinations the board have got going in the background. Looking forward to kind of 2020 when other options may be available. Who knows, maybe it'll be turned around and the Blues will be a playoff contender next year. Alright guys, I'll talk to you again for another one soon. See you later.